or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
You stole it, I took it back. I got my backbone back. I'm lifted up. Well, I'm lifted up. Welcome to What's the Story? My name is Janice Hermsen. I'm your host today, and every week on What's the Story, at least I hope, for a while anyhow. And I have with me today, I have a full crew of folks. And that would be Ed Noel from Omega Mortgage.
Howdy, hi.
Lisa at Spot On, Lisa Printup. And then Mr. Doug Ashby, who hasn't been with us for a while and is back. So welcome back, Doug Ashby. And he's the author of Heroes and Giants.
Thank you. I enjoy being back. I missed not being here.
I know. We've missed you very, very much. So
well, wait a minute. I'm looking at Ed. I don't know.
So it took us 3 shows to talk about you. Last week we didn't talk about you at all.
I thought you were going to say it took 3 shows to know I was gone.
No, you were missed right away.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just want to tell everyone that this show is brought to you by LaRue Press. We are located at 280 Greg Street in Reno, Nevada. And you can find LaRue online at LaRuePress.com, which is LeRuePress.com. Especially for you late nighters that like to order things or look at stuff and communicate middle of the night. We've got a great online system now that you can go in there and you can connect with us and send us a message or send us what you're looking for. And I can't guarantee we'll do that at 2 in the morning, but we'll certainly look at it in the morning. So that is, again, LaRuePress.com, LeRuePress.com. So check us out. And, gosh, we're going to have Jim Marchant with us today. And he is going to talk a little bit about the lawsuit that's going on. And perhaps, if we can, we'll have Mark Kampf join us as well. Hello, Jim Marchant. How are you today?
Doing well. How are all of you?
We're doing great. A full crew today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that we would like to hear a little bit about that lawsuit that's happening by the ACLU, but let's talk more about what you're doing first, and then we'll start to cover that. So give us kind of a rundown. You were here in Minden, Nevada this weekend with President Trump and the rally. So give us some insight into that. That has to be kind of interesting from the back end of that.
Yeah, very interesting, very privileged and honored to be able to participate at that level in the rally with President Trump. I'd gotten word, he actually called me last week and said, I'm going to endorse you and, we're going to spotlight you at the rally. And very appreciative and very gracious. We had a great phone call. And then you saw what happened, or those of you that didn't, I'll kind of describe it. We got to participate in the pre-ceremony or the pre-Trump speech ceremonies. And each candidate, mainly the constitutional officers, candidates, and the Senate and governor got to speak at the rally. And then unexpectedly, when President Trump was actually speaking and he acknowledged each one of us, he actually asked for me to come back up on stage and, appear with him. So that was a great honor and unexpected. And boy, what I said has caused the entire world, the entire establishment, news media, everybody, their heads are exploding because of what I said. And I'm on every newspaper, every, news report. I mean, it's everywhere. And I mean, even Nicole, I think Wallace with MSNBC, says nobody is into you and Trump that way, or that's why you lost. And so their heads are exploding, and that's okay. We're doing the right thing by implementing our new voting system that Kampf down in Nye County is doing. There are a lot of challenges with that. We're overcoming, but I am confident that we're going to have a fair and transparent count and hand count of our votes down there. There are laws that are blocking us down there from doing it exactly like we want to do it. And it's going to take not only me getting in office, but getting other legislators in office that will actually change the laws so that we can implement some of the other things that we want to do. But I'm confident just in Nye County that we're going to have an accurate hand count to be an audit type thing for the other county using the machines. So we're very happy about that. So as far as the rally, it was great. A lot of people were there. I don't know if y'all were there, but there were just thousands and thousands of people there, and it was a festive time. People were happy, and people want to get back to that. We're tired of this $6 a gallon gas and high rent and mortgage rates going up, and the shelves at the supermarkets being bare, and inflation going through the roof, and the cost of everything. And we're tired of it. So we need to fix it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And that's what made the heads explode of the liberals when I said we're going to fix it.
Wow. What a crazy thing to make their heads spin, right?
Well, it does appear they prefer things broken.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way, doesn't it? So, well, you know what? We're going to have to go on a little break here, but when we come back, hopefully we can get Mark to join and talk a little bit more about the lawsuit that has come about from the ACLU, and then Jim, you can share more stuff about what you're doing as well. But yeah, we're looking forward to chatting a little bit more about all that, and we will be back in just a moment.
Have you, a friend, or family member been diagnosed with cancer? Dr. Forsyth at the Forsyth Cancer Care Center offers an all-inclusive program to treat adult types of cancer. The Forsyth Immune Protocol Cancer Treatment Plan, in a current prospective study of over 6.5 years and 1,200 adult cancer patients, has produced a remarkable 30 times greater survival statistic when compared to conventional full-dose chemotherapy. Greater than 95% of all their patients choose low-dose insulin-potentiated life chemotherapy, using only 10 to 15% chemotherapy dosing with insulin. Dr. Forsyth has long been considered one of the most respected physicians in the United States, particularly for his treatment of cancer and the legal use of human growth hormone. Located in Reno, Nevada, Dr. Forsyth has seen patients from all over the world. To schedule your consultation today, call 775-827-0707. That number again is 775-827-0707.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Here's 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by a Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Wake up, the sun below. Got another road to sow. Let the fire feel the hope swelling up from the depths of my soul.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen, and we have with us today Jim Marchant, who is a candidate for Secretary of State in Nevada. And I know that Ed has a question for you, Jim, so I want to start right off with that.
Okay.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Hey, good. I laugh when I watch TV commercials, and I try to figure out the science of what folks are doing. My question is, did you pop champagne when they came at you with the heavy negative ads? Because in my book, that means you're a winner, or they're afraid you're going to be a winner.
Yeah, and actually, I believe it might be helping me because George Soros is dumping massive amounts of money into Nevada. He just dumped another $7 million. He donated almost $1 million to my opponent, and he's got just millions of dollars to spend. I don't have, enough to even compete there, but we're doing everything we can. And I think it's going to, we're ahead in the polls. So we've been out all over Nevada for a year and a half, and I'm hoping that is enough to get us across the finish line. I think it is. So we're just going to keep working hard, and that's all we can do, and hope that people don't believe all these salacious ads. They make them up out of nowhere. They don't mind lying. I grew up in a time where it wasn't proper to lie, and I just can't do it. And I don't do negative ads. I just point out, the differences between us. And the differences between my opponent and me is he's an attorney. We don't need any more attorneys. No offense to my friends who are attorneys. We don't need, we need business people that have actually operated a substantial organization or business, and, to come in and do the job. And that's exactly what I'm going to do, because that's my background. So just don't believe all the lies. All of these ads you're seeing on TV are predominantly flat out lies, and they're wasting their money, I hope.
Yeah, one can only hope, right? So can you talk a little bit, we haven't gotten Mark yet, so can you talk a little bit about the lawsuit from the ACLU that's been put into place and kind of at the last minute, right?
Yeah. So actually, there's been a couple of lawsuits, one by ACLU and one by, I think, Progressive Leadership Alliance in Nevada, which the judge threw out because they're doing everything they can to try to derail what we're doing in Nye County, because they know that if we succeed and we have a fair and transparent election where the votes are counted accurately, that they have a harder time winning and destroying our country, because their laws are destroying our country. So they're just trying everything they can to throw it at us. And Steve Bannon told me the other day when I was on his show, he said, I basically told him, we're being sued out here, and it's a shame. And he said, no, he says, if they're not suing you, you're not doing your job. Because I told him that when I get in, I'm going to be sued every day, and it's a shame. He said, no. He says, if they're not suing you, you're not doing your job, and I agree. So it's going to be lawfare. The whole time I'm in office, I'm prepared for it, and we're just going to work through it. And but as far as the the details of the lawsuit in Nye County on the ACLU one, I don't really know a lot about it. That's why I invited
You wanted
Mark.
to have Mark, yeah.
Yeah. And,
yeah. Well, what I'm reading is that they're saying it's a result of the hand count, but we know, because we met with Mark Velashan, the Deputy Secretary of Elections, that Mark was on that meeting, and basically they went through how that was all going to be done, and it seemed to pass the muster with the state.
Oh, it does. Yeah, what we're doing down there is totally lawful. And they're just throwing anything against the wall to see if it'll stick. You know, first they said, we're going to sue you because you're not ADA compliant and all of that type of mess. So we are. And, but, you know, they're just throwing everything.
Right, yeah, they tried to say that, but I noticed in the article they also, this was from NBC4, and they did say that the machines would be used for the handicapped, you know, anybody that needed any kind of assistance. But and it's secondary to machine counting. So
that's right.
You know, I mean, where are we going wrong? I think they're afraid they're going to find out that the machines don't count right.
When is clear and transparent a dirty word, right?
Yeah.
I mean, best I know, I want all my government to be clear and transparent.
Yeah, no kidding.
Go figure.
You know, and then now they're trying to complain about the way we're doing the tally counting and the hand counting in the precinct level basis, or the rooms where they're doing that. And, you know, they're saying, oh, you can't live stream it the way we want to do it, or you can't, you know, put it on, you know, scan the ballots and put them online the way we want to do it. So we've got a system to do that and kind of get around the laws that are currently in place. And then, like I said, we've got to change these laws in the future. And the bottom line is they keep going back to, well, you can't disclose who the voter was by showing a ballot and that kind of thing. And we're absolutely not doing that. So I know that is a law. So
how can you show that once they filled out that ballot, you don't know who they are.
Well, if you write on the paper, you could do a DNA test and determine who actually filled that out, right? That sounds like something they do.
Well, that's actually one of the items we talked about, because if a voter actually marks their ballot some way that is identifiable, it actually makes the ballot null and void, and they lose their vote. So that's important for everybody to know. Be careful. Don't mark your ballots with anything on there. Just stay within the lines that you're supposed to mark, and, you know, let your vote count, because they'll, you know, in Nye County, we're not going to look for any way to get rid of a ballot, but in other counties they might, and then they go to provisional. So so we got to do that. So
Jim, that's our word of the day, is provisional.
Oh, right. Oh.
Do you remember Groucho Marx with the bird that used to come down?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. So is that what just happened there?
That's what just happened there.
So in golf, they call it a mulligan, right?
That's funny. So let's talk a little bit about your run for the Secretary of State. Give us some insight. You told us a little bit about the fact that I wanted to ask you, when you were talking about the polls, how do we believe those polls? I mean, I'm glad that you're ahead, and that's awesome. But I keep hearing, oh, this race is tightened up and this one's tightened up. They always seem to tighten up at the end. How does that happen?
Exactly. Well, a lot of reasons. There's one of the polls, Robert Cahaley, is a Trafalgar poll guy, and he's the guy that keeps all the other pollsters honest. Because the way he does his polling is a lot better than the other ways, and the margin of error is less, and he just puts a lot of work behind his polling. And so those are the polls that I look at, and right now we're in good shape with those polls. So and I look back at the primary. In the primary, all of these polls told me that I was neck and neck with one of my opponents, and, you know, in the end, I beat him by 17%. So, so you know, you have to take it with a grain of salt. And, you know, we do our own polling also behind the scenes that we feel is a little more accurate. So, and just the sentiment of everybody. I mean, we're out all over the state, like I said, for the past year and a half, and I talked to people, and just the response of the people that were at the rally this past weekend to what I was doing and what I talked to them about, and they want so badly a fair and transparent election system. They want something they can trust. Majority of the people do not have confidence in our election system, and it's my job to bring that confidence back, and it's something that I am going to work as hard as I can to do that. And like I said, there are challenges because of the laws already, and it's not going to be easy. The liberal news media, they're going to look at every little hiccup that happens in any of the, like especially in Nye County. Anything that happens, it's not going to be perfect. I'm just going to tell everybody right now, it's not going to be perfect. We've got to go through this process, and we have the whole world is trying to hinder what we're doing. So, there's going to be sabotage. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. So, but it's going to be an accurate vote. I can tell you that for sure.
Well, that's good news. I mean, we'd all like to hear that, right? That it's.
I just wish I could get it in all other 16 counties like that.
Boy, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Is Esmeralda doing paper ballots? Didn't they do it last time?
No, they use machines, and like I said, there's a lot of the clerks are resisting what we're doing, and that's a battle I'm going to have, and I just have to.
Fight the fight, right?
Just have to fight the fight. Yep.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. Last but not least, can you share how people can find you? And I'm sure you're looking for money because everybody is at this time, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially with George Soros dumping $7 million in here. I mean, God, that's insane. I don't know.
That's crazy.
I don't know what I would do with that, but I sure would. I can guarantee you.
You'd find something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, we can use every dime that anybody could help out. You can go to my website, jimmarchant.com, JIMMARCHANT, and volunteer, donate, whatever you can. Make calls for us because that's what we need. So we appreciate it.
Perfect. Very much. Well, thank you very much for being with us. I'm sorry we couldn't get Mark on here.
Well,
maybe we can do it again, and he can fill us in a little bit in a future visit.
Yeah, he can give you the details.
All
Thanks.
right, perfect. All right, we'll be right back.
Businesses, writers, check this out. Go to lrpnv.com to get your printing, publishing, and professional services today. Need a virtual office? A place to receive and forward your mail with professional address and suite number for your business? Someone to answer your telephones? Want to rent a conference room for only $15 an hour? What about that book you've been wanting to have printed? LRP Printing and Business Center can do it for you, and they have a professional assistant on site daily, Monday through Friday. Just call 775-356-1004. Need copies, business cards, invoices, books, booklets, or graphic design to help brand you or your business? Just call 775-356-1004 or go to lrpnv.com. With a great selection of new and used books, you can get your printing done and a book to entertain you in your time off. And don't forget, you could have your business sponsoring the Bookhound Radio Show, just like Andrew Martoni, author of Little Man on the Map, does every week. Just go to lrpnv.com. That's lrpnv.com or call 775-356-1004. They'll provide solutions for your business and writing projects.
The Delta and Bonanza saloons in Virginia City are simply elegant. Imagine ascending the grand staircase and being surrounded by the Victorian elegance and grandeur of the historic banquet rooms. Original crystal chandeliers, mahogany bars, and oak dance floors highlight the eloquently appointed spaces. A truly romantic and unique setting for your wedding, banquets, or holiday parties. Detailed ceremony and menu planning ensures your special event is a memorable occasion. With just one call to Jesse at 775-847-0789, all of your arrangements will be handled by their experienced staff with your every expectation in mind, including cakes, flowers, photography, videography, music, and party amenities. Complete ceremony and reception packages are available, as well as their famous themed weddings. Since 1865, the Delta and Bonanza Saloon's guests have come from every state in the union. Now it's your turn. No event is too large or too small. Let the Delta and Bonanza Saloon plan your next incredible event. Call Jesse at 775-847-0789.
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsyth Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
It's like a jungle in here. The AC is blowing hot again.
I changed the filters. It'll be fine.
I'm calling Beach & Sons. Beach & Sons Mechanical. Air conditioning service and repair. Beach & Sons, family-owned, operated, and loved by loyal customers. 775-737-0055. 737-0055. Beach & Sons Air Conditioning, bringing quality air to your home. Time for a cool change. Beach & Sons.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen. I'm your host here today with Ed, Lisa, Doug, Jay in the booth. We're busy. Just talked to Jim Marchant. It's been fun.
Political rock stars.
Yeah, it's fun. It's interesting, and I wish we could have had Mark on. Hopefully we can get him another time. I'm not sure how much he could have shared because of the fact that, he is in the lawsuit, so who knows. I had asked him for a statement. He said he would see what his attorneys would let him say, so who knows. That might be why we didn't get him.
He hit on a couple of buzzwords. One of them that really stuck with me is he says honesty. What's happened to that?
Boy, isn't that true?
I mean, really, isn't that? Maybe that ought to be a word of the day one time.
Maybe we need to define it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's,
Don't you think that politics is the NFL of moving people, right? I try to move people to my business. LaRue Press and Jan tries to move it to hers. So does Lisa, right? We all try to do it.
Yep.
People like Jim, President Trump can do it, right? But can they do it with character, right? Everyone can stand up and yell fire or yell crime or yell this, but who can do it from their own gut, right? Instincts, character. We don't get too excited about honesty anymore.
It's so funny because I have been reviewing when LaRue became LaRue as opposed to being Publishing from the Heart, because that's who we started being, and then we changed and became LaRue Press. When we did that, I had met I'm not going to remember his name. That's terrible.
How can you forget?
Oh my goodness. I can't believe I'm going to do that. 64 success principles.
And a household
What's his
word.
name? What's his name?
Oh,
Success
what's his
Principles. Yes, it's a great book. Oh, success. We're going to find this because I have to tell you, because I know him. I got a signed book from him. Come on, people.
He's probably listening too, so that'll be good.
Everybody's out there yelling
Everyone's
his name, going,
looking.
what are you talking about? It is Jack Canfield.
Oh,
Everybody knows his
Chicken
name,
Soup
right?
for the Soul
That's
Guy.
right. That's right.
So
Jack Canfield wrote Success Principles, and to your point about all of that, one of the things I've been going back through, one of the things I did was I applied those principles to our business. And I said, okay, these are the ways we're going to do this. And one of the things is chunk it down, because it's always hard when you've got 50 million things you have to do. How do you get them all done?
Yeah.
And so chunk it down is a principle I use all the time. I say, okay, my house is a mess. I need to chunk it down. 5 things. Take 5 things, get them done every day. And you get it done, right?
Mhm.
Well, one of the things that he said, and I've been reviewing them again, and one of them is be a class act. And I think that all has to do with honesty, integrity, all those things as part of being a class act. And I think we've lost some of that with all our casualness that we have.
Yeah.
We've kind of lost our
character needs
You
to
know what's-
still matter.
Yeah,
Character
right.
matters in my world and people I know.
You know what's interesting about that? Just you needn't look any further than Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A said, these are my principles and this is what I stand by. But look at the shots he took.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Here is a good moral religious
He
group.
took no shots. That
What?
was positive advertising.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, serious life, that's positive advertising.
Well,
Right, but that's not how it feels when you're on the receiving end.
I get that.
That is not how
I get that, but that's
feels.
what it was.
I get it,
Yeah.
but even so, they're still people. They're still human. They still, and the employees have to tolerate all of that, right?
Yep.
They're on the front lines. They're the ones that get all that negativity. So that's not,
one of the things that Chick-fil-A, and I think it's kind of funny because one of the things that I don't like when I go into a place and I say, thank you, and they say, no problem. No, Chick-fil-A trains their people to respond to that, to say, oh, you're welcome.
Oh,
I
nice.
mean, but you go in there, well, my son.
But I can see why they would say no problem because
Yeah.
they're no, I can.
That's a response.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
more than no response.
Right.
And we're told to, instead of saying you're welcome, saying no problem or of course. I do that a lot when people text me, thank you, and I'll just say, of course, like it's I don't know.
Well,
Because
I
it
wouldn't
is-
say it if I thought it was a problem.
But it's common small talk, and
Right.
people
But
who are
it's-
rushing in a line don't
And
have
in a
time
way,
to
they're
take
they're
the
trying
gratitude.
to say that no, it's okay. You're not a problem. It's fine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My son would take his fire department crew, into a Chick-fil-A for lunch or something, and they knew how their employees were trained. So they always tried to trick them up. So one by one, each of these guys go, oh, thank you. No, probably no, to see if they could get something other, oh, you're welcome, or thank you very much out of them. And they would do that constantly. They never once tripped them up. It was always the same. It was always a
That's
polite
good.
with a smile, but it goes back to training. And I'm taking a guess at it because of all of the hourly employees out there, they're having such a tough time getting them. When they do get them, you can tell the ones that have been trained and haven't been trained. They say, okay, here's what you do, this and that, a 5-minute training process. That's not good for the business.
Well, it's not, but again, you have to have that discipline from the top so that it filters down
Absolutely.
the ranks.
That's where it
And,
starts. Yeah. Yeah.
And you have to have a caring population in your business. And
Yeah.
right now, I think that's pretty hard. I
Yeah.
think it's hard to find people. I think it's,
Yeah.
it's
Isn't
just
that
hard.
something? Does that say something about what's going on in our educational process?
Well, yeah, it says they're getting educated enough they don't want to do the stupid non-brain work and make $15 an hour. They're
Yeah.
better. They're better than that before high school. Just ask them.
Yeah, that's right. I should be able to afford a house on my job at McDonald's.
Totally. Did you see where I think it was New York? It was in New York, and it was a college in New York with a guy who's been teaching organic chemistry. He's a world-renowned scientist. He's in his 80s. 82 students signed a petition saying his classes were too hard, and they ousted him. No, this guy's a world-renowned teacher. He's 80. They're like, hey, so if you remember, or any of you have taken organic chemistry at the college level, right? 50 is a perfect score.
Yeah.
It's impossible, right? It's chemical combinations. It's not true false. Seriously, 50, 60 is like as high as ever is. And there's a curve on it because of that. But these guys were saying that all these potential doctors, oh, this hurts my GPA. I can't go ahead. They're making it too hard, right, for us to learn.
Well,
It's an entitlement.
but
They're
Ed-
saying if we work,
Ed,
we're going to be good enough to get the degree. They don't. You got to be smart. You can't be just some average Joe to be a doctor.
And not only that, some of them have to think about the fact that what's your competition going to be out there? Are you going to be able to compete? Just because you can get an A on a test doesn't mean you're going to be competitive in the.
They have no passion in that
Yeah,
space.
they
There's
need
no
to
passion for
understand.
what they want to do.
Especially foreign countries.
Yeah.
I mean, foreign countries are going to
I
go
just-
well beyond us.
I can't believe 82 students could get somebody ousted.
Yeah, that's
with a
crazy,
petition.
isn't it?
Like, that's crazy.
It's New York City.
I want to
Yeah.
let you guys know I just got a note from Jim Marchant with a press release from Nye County.
Oh,
hot off the press.
Ooh, that is hot. I
It
bet
is.
as soon as
It's-
you say it, it'll be quicker than AP.
I bet it is. All right. So this is a press release. Nye County is aware of a legal action that has been filed in the 5th Judicial District Court against the county and its clerk, Mark Kampf. The allegations set forth in the complaint are misleading, without merit, and distort the county and Mr. Kampf's intended course of action with respect to the upcoming general election. Overall, the current effort to discredit the county's electoral process and malign Mr. Kampf have no legal basis and, in fact, only threaten to suppress the vote in Nye County. For this reason, the county and Mr. Kampf intend to mount a vigorous legal defense that clarifies the misleading allegations and disposes of the legal action as swiftly as possible. In the meantime, it is critical that all Nye County voters understand that the pending legal action should in no way create any cause for concern nor dissuade anyone from casting a vote. More so than ever before, Nye County voters can rest assured that the electoral process will be fair, transparent, and in accordance with Nevada law. Indeed, the county and Mr. Kampf have complied with all applicable laws and regulations and will ensure that anyone who is eligible and wants to vote will be able to do so in accordance with Nevada law. And that's Arnold M. Knightley, Public Information Officer. And Mark, if that's not how you pronounce your last name, sorry about that. There we go.
Nice.
So that's the response from Nye County. So obviously they feel that they're within the law, just like Jim was talking about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I thought you guys would want to know that. So
You know, Ed, what you said about what was going on in New York in that class, I think that's just a snapshot of what's going on in the country, because you see that all over. If it's too tough, well, obviously we have to change the rules.
Right. And that, it's this go to prohibition, right? They took away the alcohol, it solved the problem. Same gun thing. Oh, take away the guns, it solves the problem. They don't solve problems. You got to get to the core of these things. It's like, take the ball away from the dog if you don't want him to play with it and hold it up here. It's not helping people grow.
And
it's not lifting folks up.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, that the kids want to be challenged.
Right.
I mean, we talked about the way that they say,
We think they used to.
No, we know they do, because my grandson said, oh, they gave that to everybody, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the message being, hey, you know what? This isn't special. That wasn't
Just like
special for
getting
me.
a participation trophy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
what that was.
That's exactly what I was
Right.
thinking.
But the kids want something more than that.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, we're going to take a short break here so that we can pay bills, and we will be right back.
Businesses, writers, check this out. Go to lrpnv.com to get your printing, publishing, and professional services today. Need a virtual office? A place to receive and forward your mail with professional address and suite number for your business? Someone to answer your telephones? Want to rent a conference room for only $15 an hour? What about that book you've been wanting to have printed? LRP Printing and Business Center can do it for you, and they have a professional assistant on site daily, Monday through Friday. Just call 775-356-1004. Need copies, business cards, invoices, books, booklets, or graphic design to help brand you or your business? Just call 775-356-1004 or go to lrpnv.com. With a great selection of new and used books, you can get your printing done and a book to entertain you in your time off. And don't forget, you could have your business sponsoring the Bookhound Radio Show, just like Andrew Martoni, author of Little Man in the Map, does every week. Just go to lrpnv.com. That's lrpnv.com or call 775-356-1004. They'll provide solutions for your business and writing projects.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by a Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of Happy Feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Destination Midtown. Experience the difference. Reno's premier shopping extravaganza. Everything imaginable and more. Midtown matters. Get down to Midtown.
Beefy's, the best little diner in the biggest little city. Cheeseburgers extraordinaire, chili cheese omelets, and the best milkshakes in Midtown and Reno. Beefy's. Try the full Beefy's menu and beer on tap. Beefy's, South Virginia at Arroyo.
Midtown Reno. Experience the difference. Get down to Midtown. Midtown matters.
Did you realize that radio advertising doesn't cost? It pays. America Matters Media has an opening for a person who would like to represent our sales department on a full or part-time commission basis. Prior sales experience preferable. So, if you have good presentation, negotiation, organization, and communication skills, America Matters wants to talk to you. Contact Eddie Floyd, 775-384-4444. Do it today.
Now she's gone like a...
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story. Don't forget to go to LaRuePress.com for your printing, books, etc., mailing, whatever you need. We can help you if you're in business. If you're an author, we're there for you. So that's my little quick 20-second.
So hold it. You don't have to be an author or anyone. You can just go by and pick up a book.
Well,
I do it all the time, folks. So you don't have to be an author to go to the store.
You can be a reader.
Yeah, you can be a reader.
There you go.
Yes.
Right?
All right, you guys. They're going to tear me up no
spectrum.
matter what.
And I promise there is no discrimination in her store.
Oh,
There
yes,
isn't.
there is. Do you have a male working in there?
Nobody's come in to work.
I saw one working yesterday.
Oh, actually, we do have somebody
Yep,
male.
there was
working.
one in there yesterday. I stopped by
Yes, we
on
do.
Columbus Day,
Did you?
Indigenous Peoples Day.
There you go. Columbus Day. All right. So our cheesehead has joined us. Welcome, Connie. Glad to have you here. She says she was late because she was doing the Census Community Survey online.
Oh.
Whatever that is. She says, OMG, over an hour to complete it. So there you go.
Was
That's
that-
what our cheesehead is doing today.
Was that the provisional?
Our word of the day being provisional. What an interesting word, eh, guys?
It is.
It is. What do you suppose that means?
So I'm going with the provision, right? Seems to me like an eyeglass chain.
Yeah.
Provision.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, wouldn't you
okay.
think that would be like an eye enhancer? Right? Provision. I mean, if we look at all
Yeah.
the
Only you guys will come up with stuff like this. I'm telling you. That's crazy.
shall we go from provision to mulligan? Right? I mean, right? So if you're playing golf and you tee off and you think you hit a ball in the water, you hit another ball. It's called your provisional.
Yeah, that I never thought of it that way.
But that's
yes,
how, just in case
that's
your first
exactly
one
what it
went
is.
in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it didn't go in the water, you have to pick
so is
up
that
your
what
provisional.
happens to your ballots too?
So I'm thinking it is. That's why I used the
Went in the
analogy.
water.
That's right. It went in the water, or you get up there and it's just on the edge and you kick it in and use the provisional because it's a better shot anyway.
Well, Doug, we've missed you because you always have such great synonyms, and we had
Yes.
to kind of fill in for you on that.
Oh, it was tough.
Yeah.
So
There's
you-
so many synonyms. I was just looking at them here because I listed them that you almost have a glass of water to wet your tongue to get through them all.
Wow. So give us a few of them.
But you know what? With some of them, I don't know if they really apply to the core word. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. But
But
anyway,
we find that a lot with the way they're defining things these
Yes,
days.
yeah.
That things don't seem like they really matter.
It's a pseudo government word.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
yeah. Oh, I like that pseudo government. That's exactly right. Yeah.
So
that
give
is.
us a couple of them.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Here. How about this? Acting, alternate, proxy.
Well, alternate, I can see.
Expedient, makeshift.
Not expedient.
Expedient.
Why is it expedient?
It would be opposite
doesn't even
expedient.
make
That's an
sense.
opposite.
Yeah. Improvised, intermediary, intermediate, transitional, fleeting, fugitive, short-lived, transitory, conditional, contingent, limited, qualified, short range, tentative.
I think Jan and I are going to write our own dictionary.
I think we are. I think
right?
we
Those.
are.
Well, I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's CRAP.
Well, let me tell you what Nevada thinks provisional, how you define provisional. Wouldn't you like
is
to
this
know?
the school district or the state?
No, this is actually the Nevada Revised Statutes. It's 293.3078 for anybody that's a nerd like me.
NRS. Watch out. Back away.
NRS.
Step away.
Provisional ballot defined, and it's in quotes, provisional ballot defined as used in NRS, blah, 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 inclusive unless otherwise the context otherwise requires. Okay, provisional ballot means a provisional ballot cast by a person pursuant to NRS, blah, 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 blah. That's the definition.
So that's
number
like
one.
a lot of our old words using the word in the
Exactly.
definition. That's ridiculous.
Here's number two. Hang on, I lost it. Okay, the term does not include. So now they're not even telling you what it means. They're
Does,
telling you
yeah,
it does
what it
not
doesn't.
include
Yeah.
a provisional ballot cast by a person pursuant to NRS, blah, 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 blah.
You
Those
know,
are your
that's-
definitions.
I at the end of synonyms down here, it has that blah 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 blah.
So what year was that NRS in?
2019.
So we would go then the.
Well, they also have a reference with it, which they'll send you to, which also then puts you back into the circle and brings you right.
So we're
back to
just
this.
saying that our state lawmakers don't know what provisional
That's
means.
what it
That's
says.
exactly
No,
what it
but
says.
I asked somebody who's a guru of the NRS. I called her up last night and I said, please advise. Am I crazy or is this not a definition? She says, well, they just assume that you know what provisional means.
Oh.
Then why did they say they were defining it?
So
right?
best I know, that goes to the, out of you and me.
I don't know what that means.
So when you
He just
assume,
did.
assume.
Okay, I gotcha. I gotcha.
You know, here is what I got out of the dictionary. It says arranged or existing for the present, possibly to be changed later. So no matter.
Ooh, so if you apply that to a provisional ballot, does everybody know what a provisional ballot is when you get a provisional ballot?
Then it could be changed later. And it probably will be.
Probably.
I think What's the Story's a provisional show, right? Well, are we on next Tuesday at 3? Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
Could be changed later.
Could be changed later.
Would you look at the way he wears his headset?
I know. I was checking that out. What are you doing?
I do that for the video, right? I want to look good, right?
Well,
looks like his forehead's going to fall off.
I know. Well,
what is happening to you?
so I got a provisional haircut, right? And look at
to be
what I got
changed
going on.
to be changed later.
Well, maybe.
Because that's why he's wearing his.
If I could kind of make just a suggestion, quit going to the barber college.
Well, I got the old school headset, right? It's at least I got some up there.
You're right. You do. Oh. So Connie says that Google stated the same thing as Doug did. So she checked you. There's our fact checker for the day.
So did that just prove
She's
that
had
Google
fact
is full of it
checker.
too, right? I mean, those words didn't relate.
They don't
Yeah.
all relate.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Oh, I love synonyms though because you can kind of make them what you want.
Apparently,
Yeah,
in today's world,
Oh,
apparently
they're
you can.
provisional.
They're provisional to be changed later.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, but for a provisional ballot, the expectation, at least when you walk in, is they say, oh, you already voted. And so you say, no, I didn't. The right thing to do is to say, I'm calling the sheriff because I didn't vote. And I'm going to report a crime because
Yeah.
somebody stole my identity. That's the right thing to say. But most people don't say that. They go, oh, well, what do I do now? Because I want to vote.
Yeah.
We'll give you a provisional.
Right.
So
Because you might have mailed in your other one. Is that why it's a provisional? Because Steve has that story.
So when does the provisional become the non-provisional?
Right.
then?
You get to go in and they give you a number, or I'm not sure if it's a number or a code, and you get to go in and you get to check to see if they reviewed your provisional.
Gotcha.
Now, which one counted?
If we go back to the word roots that Ed was using, if you break it down, pro and vision, pro positive and vision looking
seeing,
out.
yeah.
So that would be looking to the future positively. Doesn't mean anything of that.
Now he's making up stuff because that was just all made up.
Yeah.
My goodness. So anyway, we're going to have Nicholas St. John on in just a few minutes after our long break with the news.
Awesome.
And he's going to tell us about a provisional audit that he went through and with this Washoe County and share some of the results.
Best I know, with all those new IRS agents, we're all going to have provisional tax returns. So, right, we got that going for us.
It's true. It's true. So, Lisa, we only have a couple minutes left, but tell us what's going on in the restaurant world.
Since last week, not a lot. I mean, there's still struggles with staffing. Price increases are killing.
So real quick, that staffing issue, and I don't think I specifically asked you this, is it because of the money? What is the root cause of that? That doesn't make sense to me.
So the restaurants really got screwed during the lockdowns because their employees were laid off and paid to sit at home. But also the ones that wanted to continue to work or had to go to work to get benefits or get whatever, took jobs elsewhere and higher paying jobs and in warehouse jobs or,
Okay. So that's
so they lost it. I mean, I know a dozen workers that just never came back to the restaurant because it's not
so they figured out how to work in a different field,
right, and a more secure field, because there was a lot of worry too when we came out of lockdown that we were going to have to go back in again, and like, what if I come back and start my job again and then get laid off again? Then what am I going to do?
Well, is the government still paying people to stay home?
No,
they're not. Well, that's good. That's good to hear.
That's good. All right, we've got a long break and the news, and then we're going to have Nicholas St. John. He's standing out there in the green room. All right, we'll be right back.
Him in your head. Hey, sister, better watch out. Danger ahead. If you don't look at what you're doing, you're gonna end up dead.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. I'm here to warn you about telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Some of these scammers may say threatening things like you will be arrested if you don't make payments or provide personal information. Do not fall for these tricks. These calls are not from us. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you for information or money. If you receive a call like this, hang up. Never give the caller your personal information, like your Social Security number or bank account, or send money in any form, cash, gift cards, wire transfers, or prepaid debit cards. Report the call to our law enforcement arm, the Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov. Share this information with your friends and family.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today, I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media at 93.7 FM, KPGF Sun Valley, and AM 1060, KFOY Sparks, Nevada.
USA Radio News with Tim Berg.
President Joe Biden is releasing another 10 million barrels of petroleum from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in an effort to bring down gas prices. Kansas Republican Senator Jerry Moran says what President Biden is doing will not help.
The release is about a half of a day's consumption, so it's not going to do much of anything for the price.
AAA saying the national average for the price of regular gas is $3.92 a gallon. Health officials are looking ahead to combat viruses like the cold and COVID-19, which tend to be more active in the fall and winter months, especially with the holidays coming around. White House COVID-19 response coordinator Dr. Ashish Jha is continuing to push booster shots, including one that targets the original virus, as well as the BA.5 version of Omicron.
These updated vaccines should provide a much higher level of protection against infection, against transmission, and certainly against serious illness and hospitalizations and deaths.
A Labor Department proposal could classify millions of gig workers as employees instead of independent contractors. That would guarantee them minimum wage pay and overtime. The new rule would lower the bar for being classified as an employee from the previous rules set by the Trump administration's Labor Department. Delta Airlines is investing in Joby Aviation, a startup that's developing electric air taxis. Delta plans to use the service to create a home-to-airport service, launching first in New York and Los Angeles. Actress Angela Lansbury is dead at the age of 96. She's known for her roles in Murder, She Wrote and voicing Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast. This is USA Radio News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Lady Liberty is back. The Statue of Liberty crown reopened Tuesday after being shut down for more than 2 years due to the pandemic. Visitors have had limited access since the crown closed back in March of 2020. New details are coming out regarding political donations in the Department of Justice.
As distrust grows towards the Department of Justice and FBI for partisan justice, it's been revealed the 2 FBI agents that approached Facebook in 2020 election cycle, ultimately suppressing the evidence of Biden corruption, made financial contributions to the Democrat Party. CEO Mark Zuckerberg in late August.
The FBI, I think, basically came to us, some folks on our team, and was like, "Hey, just so you know, like you should be on high alert. There was we thought that there was a lot of Russian propaganda in the 2016 election. We have it on notice that basically there's about to be some kind of dump of that's similar to that. So just be vigilant."
Lance Pry reporting from the USA Radio News West Coast News Bureau. The Powerball jackpot is soaring after no grand prize winner in Monday night's drawing. That pushes the estimated jackpot up to $420 million ahead of the next drawing on Wednesday. Tuesday night's Mega Millions drawing is currently sitting at $445 million. For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
Hi, I'm Wayne LaRoute. If you like my radio show, you're going to love my podcast, War Raw. Each podcast, I present my top 10 most outrageous, salacious, and controversial stories of the week. I break down the best of the best raw truth stories for conservatives, libertarians, patriots, taxpayers, Trumpers, and deplorables. Anyone who appreciates God, guns, gold, and tax cuts will stand up and cheer for War Raw. Check out this week's War Raw podcast right now. It's available to download at iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you listen to podcasts. War Raw. War Raw.
The following is an America Matters Media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Now she's gone like a little in a song, all the way to MIA, where she thinks that she belongs. Poof, now she's gone like a little in a song, all the way to MIA, where she thinks that she belongs.
Welcome to the second hour of What's the Story? My name is Janice Hermsen. I am your host. And I just have to say that I love my engineer. She is so awesome. And I know we're giving her a bad time today. So thank you so much. And we have on the set today, we have Ed Noel of Omega Mortgage, Doug Ashby, who is the author of Heroes and Giants, and joining us for the second hour, Nicholas St. John of the Washoe Patriots. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we're going to be having joining us, I hope, Mr. Mark Kampf. Oh, he's on the phone with us. Okay, I thought he was on the link. Sorry about that. That's my fault. And so, Mark, welcome to What's the Story?
Hi there. How's it going this afternoon?
Oh, well, we're probably doing better than you.
Well, I'm driving in a car, so I wanted to call in, but I had to squeeze in the time. So my day is going great, though. I'll tell you, I love every minute of it.
It's a good thing you do. I did receive a copy of the press release that was sent out today. So thank you for that. I think that came through Jim. And so what can you tell us about the next steps for Nye County and you as its interim clerk?
Well, I don't see this suit as being an obstruction to anything we're doing. I believe that we will prevail, and I see this as an attempt by the ACLU to suppress the vote more than they see the actions I'm taking as an attempt to suppress the vote. So we're moving forward, and this is a message we want to send to the voters in our county is that don't let this stop you. We have an effective and safe election process. We've eliminated the voting machines and gone to all paper ballots, except for the machine that we have still available for ADA compliance. And I think it's going to be a great experience for everyone.
And part of that process, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that these will be counted by hand and then also by machine, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, the counting by machine will go first because that's the number one priority. And that gives us a lot of advantages because the tabulators do a marking on the ballot and allows us a better tracking of the sequence numbers of ballots. Because I do not want even the remote possibility that any ballot would ever take a walk and not be, available. But then once we do that, we're going to send it down to the hand count team. We had our first training today. We had 35 people show up for the training. We have 95 volunteers within the county and I was hoping to have 40 and I have 95 now. And so we are setting things up to be a successful process. We have a building with private counting rooms so that's quiet and secure. And we're doing everything right and going to develop a model for the country.
And is that room that you have for the counting, is that something that's available for the public to observe? Are there observers available to watch that?
Yeah, we will allow a limited number of observers in as long as they're not disrupting it. In many cases, they're going to have to stand at the door of the room. Each count team, there will be 8 count teams, will have their own room. But we are going to video the count and make that video available after the polls close at 7 o'clock on election day, so that they will be able to actually have a permanent record of the process. Now, the ballots won't be visible, but the tallying and they'll be able to listen to the vote, so that no one will be able to identify any ballot that exists there.
Wow, this is exciting. You're making history.
You know, I kind of have.
Well, we want to be transparent, and I think that's what people want in this country, is transparency.
Agreed.
Go
ahead, Doug.
3 questions. You said the poll closes at 7. If you look out the door and there's 6 or 8 people still out there at 7 o'clock, do you let them in?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
What we do is we determine the last person in line at 7 o'clock. The sheriff's deputy identifies that individual and stays with that line, so that no people after that time can enter the line. So, yes, anybody who's in line can vote.
And the other 2 questions are, is it just one polling place, or do you have several in Nye County?
They have 30,000 people.
Oh, my. We have polling in Round Mountain, Tonopah, Beatty, Amargosa, and Pahrump. And we also have an early voting site at the Duckwater Indian Tribe location on October 25th. So it's the first, we've done it before, but I plan on expanding the early voting to more of the tribes that are more remote and give more people there the opportunity to vote in the future.
How many votes do you anticipate?
Well, if we have the same kind of turnout as the 2020 general election which was a massive turnout, I'm guessing high that we'll have 5% more than that. Which, again, if I could guess, I would go to Las Vegas and put my money on.
There you go. There you go.
But I'm expecting 26,000 ballots to be cast. In the last midterm election, 17,500 votes were cast. So I believe it's going to be somewhere in between that 17,500 and the 26,000 that will be cast.
All right. Well, can you stay with us for a minute, or do you have to go? I'm pretty sure Nicholas probably has a question.
No, I'm more than happy to stay with you.
Okay. Well, we have to take a break, so we're going to go ahead and take that break, and then we'll be back with Mark Kampf.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by A Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Sliced fresh sandwiches every day, made right before your eyes. The port of Subway could be a smoking number 5 or a classic number 8, or maybe an Italian is your number 1 fave. Whatever you crave, prepare to fall in love. Sliced fresh sandwiches, port of Subs.
Treat your favorite ghouls and goblins to a 6-foot party tray from your neighborhood Printup subs. Our 6-foot trays are just $50 for a limited time, and they're a spectacular way to feed 12 to 16 friends or family members. You'll get your choice of 3 different classic subs on your choice of bread with your favorite fresh veggie toppings and savory sauces. With 18 classic subs to choose from, there's a sliced fresh favorite for everyone. Order ahead at portasubs.com or on our app for pickup or delivery. Printup Subs, slicing fresh for 50 years.
Whatever yummy number you're dreaming of, slice fresh sandwiches, Printup Subs.
Have you, a friend, or family member been diagnosed with cancer? Dr. Forsyth at the Forsyth Cancer Care Center offers an all-inclusive program to treat adult types of cancer. The Forsyth Immune Protocol Cancer Treatment Plan, in a current prospective study of over 6.5 years and 1,200 adult cancer patients, has produced a remarkable 30 times greater survival statistic when compared to conventional full-dose chemotherapy. Greater than 95% of all their patients choose low-dose insulin-potentiated life chemotherapy, using only 10 to 15% chemotherapy dosing with insulin. Dr. Forsyth has long been considered one of the most respected physicians in the United States, particularly for his treatment of cancer and the legal use of human growth hormone. Located in Reno, Nevada, Dr. Forsyth has seen patients from all over the world. To schedule your consultation today, call 775-827-0707. That number again is 775-827-0707.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900 extension 2. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen, and I am pleased to have Mark Kampf. And Mark, if I'm saying your name wrong, please correct me.
No, you got it.
Okay, perfect. And I would really, I'm very curious to know, I know that when Mike Lindell had his second event, and I can't remember.
Moment of truth.
Moment of truth. Yeah, moment of truth. I know that he told everybody to go out there and get the cast vote records. And if I recall right, you were bombarded with requests. Am I right about that?
Oh, yes. It was daily requests. It was pretty, but we know once we sorted out the right document, we just saved it and forwarded it on to them as we needed.
Okay. So, and the reason I'm asking that question, because I think that it's important that that's probably a historic event that, you know, county clerks probably have never been asked for cast vote records in those numbers. And so, of course, you're not prepared. Your staff's not prepared. I mean, I'm trying to give a picture of the other side of the coin. You know, from our side, from an election integrity side, we're like, you know, just barreling in and we need this. And from your side, it's like, oh my goodness. And you're getting ready for elections, and now you have one more thing.
Well, I think it was a matter of people wanting to make sure that they maintained a permanent record of the vote. And if you read the NRS, it says that you have to maintain the record for at least 22 months.
Right.
The operative word is at least. And
right.
So we retained those records, and we're still evaluating when we may go forward with destruction. But for this point in time, I'm relying on the NRS that says that you must maintain them for at least that period of time. So we have the space. There's no reason to destroy them at this point in time.
Well, Mark, I think that this is Nicholas. Wanted to I guess address some of that. When we were looking at the destruction of voting records, we were told it was primarily any of the paper that was associated with it, but they would be keeping all of the digital aspects of that, and we didn't know of any time that they were actually going to be destroying any of the CVR and the polling books and all of that stuff. Can you enlighten us on that?
Again, I made a decision within our county just to retain everything. So that's being the new guy on the block. I probably can't give you the right answer with regard to the electronic data, but I do know that when I go into our servers, it's there for several elections in the past, and so I have no intention of destroying anything that is not required. Many counties are space limited, and that's one of the reasons they want to get rid of the paper ballots, and that's something that was new to them, that they were saddled with having to maintain all this paper and running out of space. But at this point in time, we're not running out of space, so there's really no need until the dust settles on that whole issue.
Well, in corporate America, they've been faced with paper for a long time. And so imaging paper documents, I mean, there's entire corporations that you can send in really thousands and thousands of binders of paper to have them digitize. And I was wondering, has there been any talk about them actually taking the ballots? And I know the ones that go through the scanners, I believe they create a .sha file, which is an image of the ballot. But aside from that, from the ballots that are external, do you know of any that are talking about actually digitizing those ballots so that they do have a permanent record, even though they're going to get rid of the paper for saving space?
We are looking at digitizing the paper ballots from this election, and actually providing an actual scan of the ballot. We want to make sure that there's no information on there, so that we're going to have to be redacting things, any markings or anything that a voter puts on there that is within their ability to make a correction on a ballot, but they would provide any indication and contact back to that person. So, maybe a person makes a squiggly line through something a little bit different than everybody else does. We want to make sure that there's no identifying markings on those ballots. So we're going to scan those, because that image is much different than the tabulated image. The tabulated image is a facsimile of what it would look like if it was a perfect circle filled in, whereas the actual ballot is a completely different animal altogether. So again, we're only going to do what's allowed within the law, but I believe there's a lot of flexibility in the law in that regard.
Did you have
I was going to say in mortgage, right? The mortgage lending division, state of Nevada, right? I'm a mortgage lender, and their NRS, I think, is to keep paper records. However, they allow electronic document keeping because it's just banks all over and all the paperwork. And it would seem to me this falls right. This is all safe, secure, people's socials, same kind of space.
Well, it's not a function of storage, but about visibility of those ballots that I'm exploring, and to make sure that we can legally have those ballot images available to the public on demand, so that if Mrs. Smith's 10th grade civics class wanted to do their own audit of the school board in District 7, they could do it and identify the ballots that related to that. So, but again, it's a matter of making sure, because I see that as no different than the cast vote record. Mm-hmm. It's a physical representation of what the cast vote record is digitally.
Right.
And so that's it's something that I'm working towards, but again, I will never do anything that violates the NRS.
Mark, I do have another question for you, because you just said something that was interesting about the .sha files. You indicated that when it takes an image, does it actually fill in the bubble? So according to the NRS code, you can put an X across it, you can put a line through it, you can put a dot in it, you can put a check mark. You can
I wanted to address that too, as far as how do you mark this?
And so if you mark it in any one of those, when the SHA file is created, are you saying it's not an exact representation of what we put in and voted? If I did check marks on everything, you're saying I go look at the SHA file and it's going to have bubbles?
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Oh, I don't think anybody. I don't think I knew that.
I never heard that before.
Yeah.
It is not the actual image. What it does is it interprets the record and records that record in a way that the machine can count that record. So let's say somebody's tapping their finger in the bubble and says, I don't know if I want to vote this one. Depending on the sensitivity that you set, that could be counted as a vote or an overvote if they look later on circled. And that kind of ballot goes into adjudication, and then a decision is made. And once that decision is made, the record, if the vote is determined to be valid and you can determine the voter's intent, you're going to see a bubble where the adjudication team determined the voter's intent.
Thus the need for paper ballots.
So if someone, so let's say I vote for, candidate A, and I do that by a check mark, and I put a line through candidates B, C, and D. Is that going to show up in the SHA file?
As long as you didn't fill in the circles in B, C, and D, then no, it won't, because it won't see that as an overvote. But if you put a check mark in A and then circles in B, C, D, and E, it would show up as an adjudicable ballot. However, what you said is you drew a line through B, C, D, and E, and that's the proper way to correct a vote using the paper ballots according to our state regulations. And that's how you fix it. So it would come up for adjudication, but that kind of crossing out makes it obvious to the adjudication team who would be reviewing that and making that determination that you corrected that ballot the proper way.
So you're saying it would go to adjudication, though, if he made extra marks like
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
I have what
I said that if you put a check mark but then only put lines through the other three, there's nothing in those circles.
Right.
So as long as there's nothing in the circles, you can make all the marks you want.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
I think it's a rather simplistic question, but maybe some other people are thinking along these lines. We've had 2 recent deaths in the family, but they have already received their ballot in the mail. When are you considered dead?
I think when you're dead.
I know.
No, I mean,
this isn't Stephen King.
Well, can I go over and grab their ballots and fill them out and fire them in?
Not anymore.
Please don't say that.
So yeah.
You could before you said that.
I didn't hear that.
I think that was a provisional statement.
Yeah.
No, the county relies on 2 things. One, the Bureau of Vital Statistics puts together a database of deceased voters. And number 2, individuals, like just happened 2 days ago, someone came in and said, my mother died several days ago. They were very sad, but they said her mother would roll over in her grave if she found out, or she knew that her ballot had not been canceled and could vote. So by them providing us with that death certificate in the county's offices, that was our other means of determining, if the person was deceased.
So there is no hard line then. There is no actual.
Well, it's a function of the ability of the Bureau of Vital Statistics to keep up with notices of deaths from the various county processes.
Mark, you have been a wonderful source of information. I hope you will come back with us again. We would love to have you on. I know you're going to be very busy, but we appreciate the information and updating us on the lawsuit.
Okay. Again, I didn't practically. I hope I didn't say anything about the lawsuit, because I think we were just talking about basic processes.
Yes,
and,
yes.
and
I don't mean to implicate that. No, I'm talking about the press release.
I was going to say, wave to the burros, the herd on the way down. They're white and black. Did you see them? They're awesome.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, take care.
All right. All right, we will be right back.
Barbecue, the Butcher's Kitchen, would like to thank every customer for your loyalty and continued support through these challenging times. Call for takeout and delivery of rib tips, brisket, ahi, tuna, roasted veggies, and much more. Barbecue's open from 11 to 7, Monday through Saturday, and delivers hot food safe and healthy. Call 499-5855 for details. 499-5855 Barbecue, as featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives. Get real. Get into Barbecue Reno.
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity.
Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary located on the Forsyth Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Patterson. I'm the founder and owner of Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists. At Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists, we take a comprehensive approach to treating patients with chronic pain in the greater Reno, Tahoe area. We believe in the biopsychosocial model. This means we use multiple disciplines such as massage therapy, physical therapy, behavioral health, and medical treatments to treat your chronic pain. A plan of care is tailor-made for each individual patient. We always recommend conservative care first, but offer minimally invasive treatments when necessary. We are your one-stop shop. If it hurts, we can help. We pride ourselves in providing passionate care and making you feel welcome and understood. We are located in Reno and in Sparks, so give us a call to schedule a new patient consult at 284-8650. Again, that's 284-8650. Or visit our website at nvadvancedpain.com. We hope you choose Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists to be your center for injury rehabilitation. nvadvancedpain.com, 284-8650.
Hi, I'm Noreen Leary, CEO of the Veterans Guest House. Guest House is a home away from home for our veterans and their families who travel to Reno for medical care. Our house is more than just a warm bed. It's a place of camaraderie where veterans can find support and long-lasting friends. We serve veterans, men and women, young and old, Navy, Army, Marines, Coast Guard, and Air Force. Wherever they hail from and whatever their circumstance, the Veterans Guest House is ready to support them. The reason we feel so strongly about our mission is that we know that many veterans would forgo their medical treatments because they simply can't afford the accommodations. The guest house is one of a kind in the country, funded entirely through private donations. Want to know how you can help? There are many ways you can be involved, from volunteering, providing dinners, or supplying items from our wish list. Find out more about the guest house at www.veteransguesthouse.org. Serving veterans today, tomorrow, and for years to come.
Wake up, the sun below. Got another road to sow. Let the fire feel the hope swelling up from the depths of my soul.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen. And this has been a full show of election topics, and it's been very interesting. And we thank Mark Kampf for joining us from Nye County, kind of filling us in on some of the process and procedure that they're using there. So, but actually, and Nicholas, thank you for allowing Mark to come in and take up your time. So we're going to proceed, and then I'm going to have to apologize to you later because you're not going to get to talk about finance much. Anyway. Let's talk about, I'm going to apologize to everybody. Let's talk about provisionals. Our word of the day, provisionals. And I'm sure you heard some of that. And the fact that I picked that word of the day for obvious reasons. And you recently went to, and full disclosure, I went along and participated to some degree. We went to Washoe County and had an audit performed on the provisional ballots for Washoe County in 2020. You want to kind of take it from there?
Well, where do you start? I started with this, back in the summer, I guess, working with Jeff O'Donnell, and we had gotten
that was later.
Yeah, it was later.
We didn't work with Jeff.
Right. No, I'm thinking about when Jeff first said, "Did you look at provisionals?" There's like 61,000 provisionals in Clark County.
Right.
I said, "Wow, that's a lot." And that's when I pulled all the records, and you and I started going through and going, "Wow, 2012 had X, and then 16, and then 18, and then whoa, 20's got a bazillion." Right. It's because they came in with same day registration.
Right. There was like a 1,020% increase in approvals of provisionals too.
And prior to that, we'd had like 2 that had 100% approval, and one of them only had 2 votes.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, 8 counties in 2020 had 100% approval, with hundreds of ballots. Now we're going, how do they go from, before 25 and 3 of them were approved? Now we've got hundreds, and so that was really what started us. Yeah. So anyway, that was what started us. And so when Jeff asked me, did you look at Washoe? I said, no, I hadn't looked down. And I went out and pulled the records and looked at the voter history, only to find out that there were 0 provisional votes cast in the 2020 election. And so I called him. I said, does 0 sound right? He goes, yep, that's the number I had. So that's what got us on the track. I was starting to look. So I started digging deeper and deeper. And when I requested the records, so we put in what's called a FOIA, or this level, it's a public records request to the registrar of voters. How many? So I went in first. I just asked them. They said, "Oh yeah, there were no provisionals." So, well, how can that be? I mean, we're looking at the Eves report and it says there's 4,179.
Absolutes are impossible.
Yeah, right.
Well, absolutes are impossible.
Right. Well, and they had created a report called the Eves that said there were 4,179. I'm going 0, 479. Something's not tracking here. And then they came out, and so I put it in, and they came back and said, yeah, we had determined there was no dual votes. So, well, that's not even your job.
Yeah.
So that gets done with the Secretary of State office. So then I put in public records request and said, can I get the list you sent to the secretary? Because what they do is they compile this list. They send to the secretary. The secretary does their little magic and says, yeah, they didn't vote in any other county. And what we need is verification of residence or their ID. And so you have until Friday to get that. You do that, and then they say, okay, these are legitimate. So there's like 5,170, something like that was turned in, 4,179, of which 40 were HAVA, which is the national standard for the provisionals. And so 4,139 were turned back over saying, congratulations, these count. And so I said, can I get that list? So they gave me this list, which looked a little strange because there's only about 12 or 13 vote centers in the entire county of Washoe County. I thought, it was
the primary.
Well, no, it was the general election, but it was during COVID,
that's right.
So maybe they didn't do a lot of in person. And the stats show that there was only a small fraction of people that voted election day in person. So the vast majority of people did early voting or mail-in ballots. So tracking that down, and when they give me this list back, we're looking at that and talking to Janice. She goes, look at how many are at Cold Springs. Like Cold Springs, I actually look up where Cold Springs was, and it's nowhere. It's in the boonies.
9,000 people.
9,000.
9,800 people live there, and there's 2,950 people that are listed as having voted same day in Cold Springs. I mean, it's 2,900 people. So when we start doing this, we do the analysis and show the first 4 hours, they're having to process 3 a minute. And then in the afternoon, it's 3.8 a minute. And then by the time you get to closing, it's 5.4 people voting a minute of provisionals. Going, okay, that's just statistically impossible. And then they close which we had talked about before. So they close the polls at 7 p.m. And according to their records, there's 90 people
still in line,
not just to vote, but for provisional same day records.
Yeah, I even went so far. I have a friend who lives up in that area and votes at that vote center. And I called him and said, can you tell me, were you there? And do you remember anything? And he's like, there's no way there were that many people. And, I asked him how many,
how long
stations
did he have to stay in line? And
exactly. So you start to do some investigating and figure out, who do you know who's there, and maybe can give you some insight, because I don't live out there. I don't know. So go ahead.
Well, then we took it a step further. So we went out and did canvassing. So we went to Washoe City, and so we went out and knocked on doors, and they said, why would we vote in Cold Springs? So they actually signed affidavits saying, no, I didn't vote in Cold Springs.
Anybody that we were able to reach.
That's a whale of a drive.
Right? Well, and
it gets worse.
And it gets worse, yes.
So I went up to Incline Village, and of course that's a very transient. So a lot of places we went, there was nobody there, but we ended up with this gal and her boyfriend, and just, oh, they didn't. I thought we voted down at the library around the corner.
Right. Yeah, they would tell you where they voted. Yeah.
So they didn't want to drive to that hot spot, Cold Springs, for dinner and a vote?
50. No. And we have the timestamps of when they were there. 52 miles at like 8:30 in the morning to vote in Cold Springs from Incline Village.
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
So that
None of
doesn't
it makes
jive.
sense. Yeah.
Right.
So we did ultimately, request a review. Took from April to July, I think it was June or July, June.
Yeah, I produced two reports. We got the final report in June 2nd. I turned that into the county commissioners. They did what they've been doing to us for a year and a half now. They ignored me. So then I started pushing it, ended up having to go to the county manager, and they kept stonewalling and saying, we can't get you to the manager until August. I said, I don't think you're taking us seriously enough. And so finally we got it in July 6th. And the day before, they emailed me and said, oh, we're sorry, he can't make it. I said, I'm sorry, I've arranged schedules for people already, and you need to make this. And so I moved it from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. And we had to only arrange a little bit. But I mean, everything they do is just, it's work.
There's lack of respect
Yes.
is what you feel. You feel a total lack of respect. It's not so much, if it was reasonable, but when you have that much time ahead and then all of a sudden, they're dumping you again, nah, you're just not going to do it. So you have to be persistent. If you're out there working on election integrity, you got to be persistent.
So they opened, so they said, so again, they tried to kick the can over to the Secretary of State. Of course, the game is we'll kick it to the Secretary of State. The Secretary of State's going to kick it down to the county, and the county's going to go, no, it's the Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Ring around the posy, or what is it, Red Rover.
Yeah.
So any of this investigation, I think it's fascinating, but is the state of Nevada, these folks, right? Don't they want to be accurate?
You would think.
Do you get some feeling
You
that they
not
want to
wanna
be
ask Nicholas
accurate?
that question.
So you guys are telling me they
sense
didn't
is-
want to be accurate
The
on
sense-
purpose.
No, that's not true completely.
That's true. That's
That's
right.
not true
That's right.
completely. Let's be fair. When we actually got into the audit, talked to the two auditors and the county manager, I would say that the auditors seemed like they cared. Like they really were trying. And I think that they did a pretty good job of investigating and initially when we first met with them, it seemed that they did. And they seemed like they really did want to dig in.
Mm-hmm.
She seemed like she tried. In some ways, and this is just my impression, it seemed like she kind of didn't know where to go and who to ask.
It did feel like she was a little bit of a fish out of water.
Yeah, it really did feel that way. Probably has never done it.
Well, and I think because
I think that's the deal.
She's an internal auditor, so she audits all the internal departments. And so typically if she walks in the room, she's got the ultimate authority. Well, now all of a sudden she's dealing with the public and she isn't the top dog. We are. And so when we start asking questions, I don't think she's ever found herself in that position before. Because every
plus,
time
I really didn't feel she knew where to go.
No, she didn't.
She didn't know where to look.
Well, and one of the things that was exposed that she came out with was the data that you had wasn't good.
Yeah, she confirmed that the data that they gave to Nicholas with his public records request was inaccurate. It was not the correct spreadsheet to send.
So we have about 12 voter centers, and the list she had almost 30.
Right. And on that note, we're going to take a little short break here and leave you in suspense, because when we come back, we will explain a little bit more about all of that. Yeah, I hope I'm not glazing over, because it really is an interesting outcome. All right, we'll be right back.
Join the Riverwalk Merchants Association and the City of Reno at the second annual Halloween Hollow on Halloween, October 31st from 4 to 8 p.m. at Idlewild Park. This free event includes the Idlewild Spooky Train. Ride by donating 2 cans for the food bank or paying $2. A new haunted house for kids and adults. A midway sponsored by local businesses for kids to play games and get candy. A costume contest for humans and their pets, plus cosplay superheroes. For more information, go to reno.gov/special events or on Facebook by searching Halloween Hollow. Don't miss Halloween Hollow Thursday, October 31st from 4 to 8 p.m. at Idlewild Park in Reno.
Businesses, writers, check this out. Go to lrpnv.com to get your printing, publishing, and professional services today. Need a virtual office? A place to receive and forward your mail with professional address and suite number for your business? Someone to answer your telephones? Want to rent a conference room for only $15 an hour? What about that book you've been wanting to have printed? LRP Printing and Business Center can do it for you, and they have a professional assistant on site daily, Monday through Friday. Just call 775-356-1004. Need copies, business cards, invoices, books, booklets, or graphic design to help brand you or your business? Just call 775-356-1004 or go to lrpnv.com. With a great selection of new and used books, you can get your printing done and a book to entertain you in your time off. And don't forget, you could have your business sponsoring the Bookhound Radio Show, just like Andrew Marchant, author of Little Man in the Math, does every week. Just go to lrpnv.com. That's lrpnv.com or call 775-356-1004. They'll provide solutions for your business and writing projects.
You hear it all the time. Buy local, think local, eat local, choose local, grow local. But who the heck really is local? You can shop with locals at the Nevada Marketplace in the Reno Town Mall and search for locals at buynevadafirst.com. We're all local all the time.
Text and whatever. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Now she's gone like a...
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen here with Ed Noel, Doug Ashby, Nicholas St. John. We've been talking about a Washoe County provisional audit. And yes, you heard me say that word. And yes, it really is happening. And no, you're not hearing it from the mainstream media. You will not hear it from the mainstream. Actually, they did contact you, or you contacted, I believe, Channel 2 or Channel 8. Which one was it?
All of them.
All of them.
Every single one of them.
Didn't 2 get back to you? No, I thought one of them got back to you. Okay.
No.
So we've tried to notify them that, something's going on here and we have an audit because, everybody says there are no audits and that nobody
and that everything was perfect.
And that
in
everything
the
was
past,
perfect.
Right. That nothing
Yes.
was askew.
Well, doesn't this answer Ed's question? Doesn't everybody want it to be accurate?
I will tell you, dealing with different county, because I went to the logic and accuracy audit, logic and accuracy. What did they call it? A test?
Yeah, it's a test.
Yeah. Okay. And the people that are working there, they do want it right. I believe that with all my heart. I believe the people that are in that room that are doing that job want that to be correct. From the guy that let us in there and made us sign all the papers to, the people that are behind the thing. And I was listening to this lady training these people how to do this, because these are other county workers, is my understanding, that come in there and sign up to do this because it's on the weekend, right? And somewhat during the week too. So anyway, but yes, I believe they do want it right. That's my, unofficial opinion.
Instinct.
Yeah, and instinct, yes. But when you get to the higher ups, you get a different sense. So
That's being generous.
Well, it seems to be like they should almost do like an independent, like Ernst & Young, right? Like an accounting firm, because whoever's in power, who's ever doing the vote, has a vested interest. There's a conflict of interest.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So ultimately, one of the things that is not in the report, Nicholas is going. Have you already posted this report yet, or no? Okay, so he's going to post this report. I'm going to have it on my page. He'll have it on Washoe Patriots, and that's washoepatriots.com. Right. So go there if you want some information about what Nicholas is doing with different things around the county. But ultimately, you're going to post that report. What's not in the report is what I want you to share. What was it that Eric Brown, Washoe County Manager Eric Brown, said to us at the beginning of the meeting? Do you remember his words? I don't have the clip. I tried to pull it off, but I didn't have enough time to pull it. And I will include it in this.
We have up, I did post that up on rumble.com /Washoe Patriots. So you can watch that whole interaction between us and the auditors and the manager. I'm not recalling right offhand. I know at one
that
point
there were systemic.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I
Eventually
knew
there
you-
was
you-
systemic. That wasn't at the beginning, but yeah, we were walking through this, and the whole thing about the voter rolls, which we've been going into county commission meetings for 22 months, saying you got to clean up the voter rolls. I mean, we've had people volunteer, and and we keep going through these circular things that they just talk in circles, and it's like you were talking about. You know, what's a provisional ballot? What's a provision for? You don't define a word by itself.
By using the word.
So Webster does. But,
No,
but anyway.
no, the NRS statutes do.
Yeah, well, right. I mean, again, what is another word for thesaurus, right?
Yeah.
So trying to get them to pin down this, other than her coming out and saying, because one of my questions was, well, we're seeing they shoved a whole bunch of people into these provisionals, and then by April they'd already pulled out 400, and by September they pulled out almost 700. Well, why would you have people register to vote on election day, 2,950, and then all of a sudden 400 of them are gone already just in 4 or 5 months, and another 4 months later, there's another 300 and some that are missing from the rolls. We can't even get dead people off the rolls, and here we got people that just got in.
They're walking off. That's called the empty set.
So I'm asking
that's new math,
right? So we've been asking those kinds of questions, and we said, we would volunteer, and then we went the whole thing of, well, we can't do volunteers, and I said, well, that's funny. You hired a bunch of volunteers for the election workers. Well, we can't use volunteers that way. It's just this.
Yeah, they just put you in circles,
Yeah.
but ultimately, and it is on your website here, finally an acknowledgement that there is a systemic problem.
Yeah, right.
So if you go to rumble.com
Yep.
/Washoe Patriots, you will see the video where
And
Eric Brown says that. However, in the conclusion, they don't say that.
No.
They don't tell you.
because that goes right to electioneering, right? I'll say, like, obviously the senatorial race, that goes right to what they're claiming, and to me, it makes Adam Laxalt more accurate on his ads.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right,
I
just
wasn't
in
sure what
the
you were referencing.
ugliness that's out there.
Yeah, there's ugliness out there.
But I'd like to see truth in advertising, right? Which I know I'm a dreamer.
Well, and that's
no, you're here legally.
That's right.
Sorry, couldn't resist.
I don't know. No one's checked my papers recently. I don't know.
We don't do that.
Yeah, you can't
What?
ask, you
Oh.
can't ask
do
him if
that.
there's a citizen before you
No.
vote.
No, you can't ask him that.
No.
Obviously, in Colorado, they don't care, right? They just send them out.
Yeah. Yep.
And I believe, what is it, San Bernardino? They get to the point where we're saying, if you walk in and want to vote, you get to vote.
Wow. I don't know what's happened to our country, but I think we need to fix it.
Yeah. It took
So-
a left turn. I think it's time to bring it right. A right turn.
So
back.
I think we, the people, have been fools and haven't had accountability, right? The races weren't close. They were foregone conclusions, and we've let them do all this stuff. So races get close. Now we hold them accountable, and they're not.
Right.
That's on us.
Well-
but we need to get it right now.
Well, and I don't know if you've seen the movie Selection Code, Election. So it's Selection Code that Mike Lindell did. And it was really good with all the stuff that Tina Peters went through. And for crying out loud, she does her job, and then the FBI raids her and they arrest her, for crying out loud, for doing her job of backing up the discs.
and what disservice the mainstream, and I don't even want to call them the mainstream, the legacy media has done is not covering all the stories. I have no problem with covering stories that are contrary to what I believe, but I want to see stories about what we're doing as well. And you don't have to agree with us, but you should know that it exists so that you can then investigate for yourself and decide whether you believe it or not. I mean, that's all you're looking for, right? Is, again, truth.
Well,
Oh,
it
what's that?
stinks, but when things are horrible, right, there's opportunity for What's the Story to bring accurate information to the
Yep.
fores. It's ridiculous, though. The mass media outlets, they might as well be the Emmys, right? They're a production show, just like a movie or Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Right.
And they do their thing and they're out. It's ridiculous.
Right, and-
Pretending to be news should be a
And
crime.
part of what they kind of report is what you were going to talk about today about the condition we're in financially.
Well, they don't talk anything about accuracy, right? So likely we've had 3 quarters of negative growth.
Right.
Used to be 2 negative quarters was a recession.
Right.
But I heard Jamie Dimon say we're probably 6 months to a year from a recession.
Ugh.
So that means to me that we're probably in 6, 7 months or quarters of negative growth.
Which means we're
There's
really
some
in
pain
a
coming,
depression.
folks. Pay off those credit cards,
Yeah.
right? You know, get tight, have a plan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not a pretty picture.
Well, that's when you do get and sit down and watch the mainstream media. It gets back to that word we started with an hour ago, honesty. Do you believe what they're saying? And then there is the act of omission. What aren't they telling you? Yeah, I mean, so why turn it on, to watch these talking heads? Because, there's a high likelihood of what they're saying is going to be jaundiced one way or the other.
So it totally is, but that's the story. That's what they're showing you.
And one other thing I want to circle back.
Oh,
I want to circle back to
provisional.
Yes, provisional ballots for a minute, because one of the things that we didn't say maybe clearly is that they actually state that the provisional ballots that were being labeled as being cast in Cold Springs, the audit staff found that the provisional ballots cast throughout the county were improperly labeled as being cast at a single vote center in Cold Springs. They explained why. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But the point that I'm making to you, if you're a voter in Washoe County, they just told us that they can't even label something right. And
in a small place.
In a small place. Right. So how are they counting our votes and managing the second largest county in Nevada? There needs to be, and the county manager is saying there's a systemic problem and they have no solutions. So your job is to help us force them to create some solutions. That's what we need.
But
that is our job, right? They work for us.
Right. Oh, that would be questionable.
They do.
They do. We know they do. I'm not sure they know they do.
We're just keep reminding them.
And so in our report, she comes out and I was just looking there since the internal audit. During early voting, the records are auto updated in the poll books. And then we get to the next paragraph. During election day, there are not individual site location identification and are no automated processes.
Right.
So how do you have auto updated in early voting and no automated on election day?
And I know from experience that they seem to use different machines on election day than what they do on the early voting days, because they made us stop using some at one vote center. Yeah, it just doesn't even make sense. That's what I'm going to tell you. So I hate to be the person to cut you off, but tell people where they can find you, Nicholas.
Okay, over at washoepatriots.com. And I try to keep all that stuff on the front page. We have a meeting next Saturday at 12:30 up in Sun Valley. The videos are on there going into all this stuff. Also rumble.com/Washoe Patriots. I post a lot of stuff there.
There you go. So we'll have Nicholas back. That's our election show today. And hope you learned something, and hopefully you will participate as well.
Sliced fresh sandwiches every day, made right